Nas and Hit Boy teaming up has really been dope to me because I think it especially pumped a lot of new life into Nas's career. While I think King's Disease 1 was overhyped, I think that it definitely showed a lot of potential between the two. And I think King's Disease 2 realized that potential. So here's a victory lap.
I don't even know what's happening, man.
Hit Boy's using a reverse sound source in the background. Let's see if it stays. Yeah, this beat's tough.
I should Morris and found where heaven was. Heaven on earth, this shit is magic with no fairy dust. Home of the gully gangs and the gruesome and the scary stuff. I told my brother, jump up them, they gon' go through hell with us. They don't have to handle it like it is. You gotta deal with the consequence when you running the niggas' cribs. Nigga, you better be ready to sit. Dope dealers, street hustlers, pop cases, throw dice on pavement.
Hit Boy is found it. He know what works now. That's a good modulation in the beat too. I like what Nas is painting so far.
Stop plotting on each other, plot on millions. Educate yourself, find to different areas of interest. Spread your bets out, double down on what's working, then you double up. Hands on your paper, they send the hate no matter what the seas. Checking on my history, making content for Viacom, licensing music to Tiffany's. I come from.
All right, I really like that from a production standpoint. I think Nas offered a lot as far as just technical lyricism. You know, the content, what he's rapping about, a rap song and telling somebody that you guys should plot on a million's not going to solve any street violence because there's so much politics and socioeconomics behind it. That's a little shallow to me, but the rapping was good, which, you know, rap about what you want to as long as the rapping's good. So that's how I feel about that. So this is Meet Joe Black. Hey, this reminds me of Black Republican beat. Not anymore now.
Wow, no post office, we stamping time. Took a slice out of the big apple, made apple pies. Family size.
That's fire.
Leather bombers and Nikes and cars. Dangerous corners, you better pray that tomorrow arrives. Rap, sugar, roast that. I would have crowned the city is mine, you cannot hold that. I'm not the one to go back. You fuck around me, Joe Black. What I'm saying, people saying what's already been said. Predictions, I don't listen, it's already in my head. No niggas say anything in these raps cause it sound good. Don't even mean what they say, horrible outlook.
That nigga hip-hop. Hip-hop is good. That nigga told everybody about it. He came out publicly and said, hip-hop is dead.
that outro's funny. Hip Hop Is Dead was a fire album. I don't care how wrong he was. Alright, I didn't like that song as much as the first one. I thought the production was fine. The synth later with the distorted synth. I've heard similar beats from Hit Boy that sound like that, that were done a little bit better. So it wasn't my favorite Hit Boy beat. But rapping was above average. It wasn't great. It wasn't anything to write home about. He mostly played with a little 3-syllable rhyme, and it had, you know, it probably had one in rhyme in each set of 2 bars. Nas is still super gifted as a lyricist right now, so hopefully, you know, it steps back up. I thought the rapping was really good on Speechless, so let's get into Ugly. Let's see where it goes.
It's ugly outside, it's muggy, it's money outside. 105 Fahrenheit, thunderous skies. The cloud shape a clown face above where you reside.
Man, this sample sounds great.
They call my city Gotham City, opposite of pretty. Weatherman cannot predict bullets raining from out the 50. It's ugly outside, Big L would be here if it wasn't. Hella freeze over the day it doesn't get ugly out. Even your mentor could get you sent for, get you chipped off if it's a brick off. You hit a brick wall, damn big dog. Dove in that water and got hit with a cannonball. Ugly Christmas sweater party with no Santa Claus. Companies profit off of black trauma. That's ugly, mad ugly, just like Shanae and Wanda.
Verse was tough.
Confidence on my consciousness. It's ugly outside, stay dangerous, stay out the mix. Popping back out on niggas, homie, I'm popping shit, kill 'em with no accomplices. Watching my rear view, the envy is obvious. Shit's ugly.
Alright, I like that song. It's a little ironic that the song Ugly had that gorgeous sample on it. And then I like the distortion and the effects that were put on the sample too. Nas's rapping was good, especially in that first verse. I thought the first verse when he was painting the hood picture, I thought the rapping there was super good. I thought he weaved it back into modern day, I call it like that OG wisdom. Him giving his, his wisdom, his advice. I thought he weaved it in with a little bit more maturity. I thought it was a more well thought out perspective. So that might be my favorite song on the album so far. This is 4016 Building. I like these drums a lot.
Nasty with dreads, a slim teen, young, I was passionate. I brand new book crackling sound when you open and writing gems. I'm in gospel in the booth, it might sound like I'm writing hymns. With the support looking rainy, but I skate through it daily. And a new gray Mercedes, waterproof Jordan ladies, I'm sizzling, scorching.
Nah, he floating right now.
I don't bang, but I'm making that crib. Let my bitch running the web, so while I'm blazing the whip, take my quotes. I'm here to give hope. Start a company from one of my friends.
Is he talking about Blue Bills is making that crib? I ain't heard that one before.
I don't bang, but I'm making that crib. Let my bitch running the web.
That's such a stupid line. That's dope though.
We in the age of lit and dumb shit, kill your kingdom, body bags for no reason. Young shit, blood slit, slurring off of the Seagrams. Hey,
All right, guys, stop shooting each other.
with it, creep through the shadows, eyes wide open, tie still smoking, break screeching, he's tweaking, he see himself way different than we see him. He speaks as if these mean streets was only his region. Should everybody squeeze him? Niggas know what I can.
The storytelling, that 4-bar story, him just painting a picture of a dude on the block, that was tough.
With Billy behavior, if they don't say I'm the GOAT, that's the silly behavior. It's the ones you grew up with.
Nah, he's snapping on this song.
That's with the dumb shit, they want you slump cause you get love. Ain't that some shit? 20 trucks at the awards, we be more. I was in rare form on the last album. I ain't playing out here. It's not a game. Woo!
I can't tell if that's vocals or a horn, but Hit Boy's taking a lot of variety of sounds. Like he's had two very different sounding stems on Speechless and Me Joe Black, and then he had a sample on Ugly, and then he had the horns on 4016 Building. But the way that he distorts all of those sounds and the effects that he puts on them, they give them a very similar vibe, and I think that's really good production. That's part of what makes this collaboration so good, because he's taking sounds that Nas, you could definitely see Nas like a sample in horns. He's taking those sounds and trending them up. So he did it really well on 4016 Building, and it didn't hurt that Nas just snapped. This was the best song on the album so far. So this is Hollywood Gangsta.
The scars of martyrs, the path of bastard seeds, effects of absentee fathers passed on with ease. Hope the babies eat healthier, and may we get wealthy. Your take was not given, we asked for forgiveness, not permission. Hope click in the Desi or Nans on my Copacabana flow. In Houston with a thick one, eating and popping those. Velour fashions, world tour jackets. I turn to a hoarder, I don't need more baggage. Everybody mind telling stories backwards, like my song Rewind, in-store autographing. To take it back in time to today.
Bro, Rewind is such a good song that doesn't get enough love. That song is amazing. That's one of the best storytelling songs in hip-hop just because of the creativity. But that's neither here nor there.
I put the new in New York, I'm home. All of the watches stay on the Eastern time zone. Throwing parties whenever I'm feeling golly. White linen parties for whenever we make $1 million.
I think Nas really found his voice for rapping on, this side of 40. The big thing for Nas, his perspective and his voice has always been one of the things that set him apart. Him coming up in the era of gangster rap and having a conscious touch on that, even though he was rapping about regular street stuff, right? It's the same thing. He's rapping about being in the industry from the hood, which is something that's been rapped about plenty of times, but I think he's doing a masterful job of it right now, especially on Hollywood Gangsta. Him rapping about him ascending into the industry and him gracefully maneuvering the industry, which is a perspective we don't hear about that much. And he made it sound cool, both with just some of the flexes that he had in that verse and with just the overall rapping. I'm liking this project so far. I'm liking it a lot. This is Woo for the Children.
Watching brothers who smart but think they not. I need them to realize what they got is a fresh start. That brother that you claim so powerful, the one you said he has a whole lot of pull, probably already tried to pull his brothers up.
It's a really textured beat. I think the glimmering synth in the background, it sounds like a little 90s R&B type synth. That's my favorite part of this beat. Once again, he's taking a sample and flipping it in a pretty creative way that definitely has his touch all over it.
What he did to you now, the man in him is bringing the kid in you out. You kidding me, still playing the victim, you weirding me out. Queens Queens to Brooklyn, oh what a feeling. I should've had Grammys with no dirty. Said woo for the children. Should've did that remix verse on Gimme the Loot for Biggie. Me through a few of them, some gangster, some Christian, some with a heart full of hate for me. Even with a new nigga, they label me a sinner because I left what they sold. There's really no other feeling having that type of control. Gotta be a special type woman to deal with my life. Gotta be a special type woman to feel what I write. Special like my classics, special like my listeners who have attachment.
The toxic rap and R&B genre is booming right now, so you got to come with a little bit more for me to be impressed.
Special. Yeah, it's a privilege. VSOP shit.
All right, cool. All right, the only thing I don't really like about that song is I thought that chorus was a little I especially like the first verse. The second verse, like I said, if you're gonna get into your toxic bag, you're gonna have to come with a little bit more toxicity than that. But structurally, lyrically, it was a good verse. But I do like that first verse better. But yeah, it was a pretty good song. I think it was a step down from 4016 Building and Hollywood Gangster, but still a solid song. All right, this is Wave Gods with A$AP Rocky and Primo.
No comparison, we more solid than they are. Me and Hit Boy, they say we like the new Gangsta. Me and
That's fire. R.I.P. man. That's fire.
Only every carbon chromosomes on my conscience. Here's a nigga talking nonsense, call them nasty Nostradamus. Rock the pearls and diamonds, break the promise, break the wildest, break the heart, and break the pockets. Take your notes like guidance counselors. Practice like the chancellor.
A$AP Rocky is actually floating a little bit. He's doing better than I thought he would do. He lost a little bit of steam since I said something, but that was a solid verse by Rocky. He didn't have too much content wise, but he definitely floated as far as his flow.
Monotone style like Guru on some Primo cuts.
Let's go, man. Hey, 90s references is a W. Any Gangstar Guru reference is a W. The monotone style, that's such a good punch too.
Adversity I face, I roll my own gas to make sure that it's not laced. Damn, I used to hit the block hoping they see.
Still can be laced.
You watching video music box, sitting close to the TV. I wasn't trying to down piece, I might buy you a piece of property. You might have had some joints, but ain't nothing like me and Rocky seen. No comparison.
That's simping, ain't it?
We do our thing as long as listen close as I prove my point.
I ain't gonna hold you, that ain't the best scratching I ever heard in my life. But we still got a Primo feature. It is what it is. That song was pretty good. A$AP Rocky's verse was solid. Nas' verse was solid. The beat was solid. This is probably gonna be the most popular track on the album, but it definitely isn't the best. But I definitely see why people would like it. So this is The Truth. I love this beat. The keys in the background remind me of the keys on Represent. They sound like the exact same in my opinion.
Black force laced up, Galactica glaciers, 88 carats, immaculate paste stubs. Them niggas do a crime, I drop a rhyme, it's the same rush. And they been sending shots a nigga way, but they ain't struck. Can't fuck with me. I've been outside since $1.50 was the only way to get your face done. Doggy style CD turn that murder with the case.
Fire.
Thinking when I drop my first shit, I'm leaving they face crunch. Niggas ain't telling the truth enough.
That verse was sick.
Marching orders, this shit'll make your mouth water like full grill with wood chips. Woolrich, button up flannel, looking wolfish, my hair woofing. Central bookings, simple lessons.
Goodness, he is snapping. The WOO sound that he's playing with, the alliteration he got going on, that's sick. Run that back.
This shit'll make your mouth water like full grill with wood chips. Woolrich, button up flannel, looking wolfish, my hair woofing. Central bookings, simple lessons. 1 foot on the curb, 1 foot in the Lexus. My style is eclectic.
He's still going.
Eat you pussies for breakfast, then I offer refreshments. Look, all that fly shit you're harping on, then take a wash from your arm. And cops do nothing about it, that's what's going on. Maybe the Abu Dhabi, probably Besides, crank the engine on the 74. Chevy Seville, shorty furnace a snake. I told her her bestie ain't real. You gotta
Nah, bro, he is spazzing right now. It's some of the best rapping I've heard from him in a very long time. The content here is dope. But what he's doing, technically speaking, with the level of alliterations, him playing with the middle of the word as opposed to the end of it, which you typically do with rapping, is masterful. He did it for a very long time with that booking, woofing, Woolrich sound. He's doing it with the arm mark, and some other stuff with the R sound. He went from the book to like pussy and the sound again. He's snapping. And then this is really hard to do too. This is sick.
Niggas ain't telling the truth enough.
I love that song. That song was great. Beat was sick. And then Nas, that's bar for bar. I think that's the best song on the album so far. I set it up, especially about that second verse, but the first verse was phenomenal as well. That's tough, man. That's vintage Nas. So this is the last track, Dedicated. I like how he's giving so many of the songs vintage feels too.
A lot of people try to be who they ain't. We don't want money that fit in the bag, we want the bank. Just to spread it around like icing on the cake. White Tiger out the cage, Mike Tyson in 88. It's Columbus, that is what interests me. Juneteenth holiday finally came and it pisses me off for the fact life, my life. I dedicated my... Test, yeah. You know.
B-Switch is sick.
Ghetto manners, is you thugging me or asking, finessing me or pressing me when none of that is happening. Accessory to murder, not necessarily dancing. I'm just a G in construction, Pelly Pell or advancing. Same age, but niggas be having mad grades. Million man march from real niggas never last place. Blazing gas like young Haitian Jack. Me and money go together like the 80s and crack. Shorty aura like Kimura rockin' baby fat. I'm dropping bars, nigga, like I'm on stage with Smack. Some my niggas who had staples from their navel up, healed up.
Smack bars are an easy dub.
Am I a musician or am I a magician? No tricks, just real shit straight out the kitchen. Pure magic. No tricks, no tricks.
Man, what an ending. That's how you end the album. They really got intelligent about the way they craft their songs too. Because I thought in King's Disease 1, they did a little bit too much beat switching. I don't like when people use beat switches as a crutch. And I think Hit Boy, I guess because he just has a lot of beats, he can kind of do that too much. He had one beat switch on this album, and it felt right. Like it was perfectly placed. Both beats were good. Nas is rapping. I had a complaint on Meet Joe Buck. I started complaining about the album. I thought it was going to go south. And I don't think I complained since then, man. This album was really good. I definitely say this was a top 10 EP of 2021. I think King's Disease 2 had a few more highlights on the album than Magic. But I do think Magic was more consistent of a project. I don't think it had any real low points. Even the songs that I had complaints with, I wouldn't call it a low. I think almost just off the length, I think if I listen to this a few more times, I think I'll prefer King's Disease 2. But this is right up there with it. This is another solid project by Hit Boy and Nas, and man, they really found something.